Hello, my name is Steve Barnes. I am the Director of Science and Compliance for Aquastar Pool Products. I am here today to introduce you to the pipeline filter. The future of filtration is here. The pipeline filter is a cartridge filter, which means it's super convenient to clean. It's also very hydraulically efficient without sacrificing filter performance. And by that I mean it will deliver crystal clear water, easy for me to say, in a matter of a day or two from the point of installation. It gets to DE level clarity in one turnover of the NSF certification test. This is truly an amazing filter in performance and also safety. Safety is one of the key features. Before we even decided to get into it, we realized as a company that Aquastar needed to improve the safety of filter cleanings and, more importantly, in unexpected things. The key safety element of this is a double locking ring, and what that means is even if the pump were to turn on or the pump was even running, it would not be a safety hazard. Well, as long as you don't count your shoes, because it will definitely send water down the outside of the housing and get you wet, but it's not going to hurt you. The way the safety feature works is the double locking ring. And so it takes 2 turns and clicking the safeties twice to be able to disassemble the filter. That's the key aspect of what makes this special. Safety is critically important, but so is easy access to any filter, because we want to keep them clean so that they can keep your pool clean. If you don't clean your filters often enough, it's a lot like never cleaning your vacuum cleaner. We don't just clean our vacuum cleaners once every year because whether they need it or not. No, we clean the canisters whenever they get full. And so the pipeline filter is easy and safe to get into, and that way we can clean it more often. Let me talk about the name, pipeline filter. It is very much a name that's derived from the design. This, from a technical standpoint, is the equivalent of a Class 150 flange. What in the world is Barnes talking about now? Well, that's what your big commercial pipe, that your pools, it lasts for decades, that have been around from the 50s even. That's this pipe design with special fittings that are just super strong, and hence the pipeline name. And so the difference between the two filters you see here is we have a shorter version and a tall version, and we are able to do that because of the patented pipeline design. It's truly an innovative game changer for filtration. Another aspect of the pipeline design is that it is a pipe. That means it's a cylinder. Kind of goes without saying. That's important relative to its ability to evenly distribute dirty pool spa water up the outsides of the filter itself. That allows for even distribution of the dirt and debris, and not only does that make the filter work better, it also means your pump doesn't have to work as hard to move water through it. It has very deep plates, deepest in the market so far as I know, and that further enhances the ability of the filter to capture debris and dirt without sacrificing performance or putting undue back pressure. All filters have 2 different specifications relative to their flow rate capabilities. There's a public pool flow rate and a residential pool flow rate, and those are different. The pipeline filter comes in two sizes, the 27,000 and the 35,000s. Those model numbers correspond with the public pool, the size of the public pool each filter can be used on. So the 27,000 can be on a public pool up to 27,000 gallons. And similarly, the 35,000 could be on a pool 35,000. Now, you can also go to bigger pools by adding 2 or more filters. They're designed to hook together, but we'll talk about that in the future. For right now, let's look at the flow rates and the sizings on this. So the 27,000 has a public pool flow rate of 75 gallons a minute. And 75 gallons a minute on a 6-hour turnover rate, which is what the public pool codes typically are, gives us 27,000 gallons, and that's where we get the name. The taller one, the 35,000, can do up to about 94 gallons a minute on a public pool, and that means it can be 33,750 gallons for a public pool, or the technical numbers. But on a residential pool where we don't have the public health risk, then we can move more water through the same filters. So when we look at that and we look at our maximum flow rate for the 27,000 is 150 gallons a minute, that means that's up to a 72,000 gallon pool in 8 hours. You know, if you do 10 hours, it's a 90,000 gallon pool. So you can see these filters are quite capable of handling even the biggest project. And remember, this is superior technology that will give you bottled water level clarity in just a few days of operation after installation. Next, I want to talk about the pipeline filter as compared to its much bigger, as in bigger, filter competitors. So it's been a tradition in the pool industry that a bigger filter would clean more water using less electricity, for example. But what I want to show you here is, in reality, the pipeline filter really is a top-tier filter in every sense of the word. What you're looking at here, and I'm sort of a geek, this is the published head loss curve, as it's called. So on the left is the filter pressure, if you will. How much pressure is on the gauge is one way to think of it. Across the bottom here is gallons per minute. This big filter can handle all the way up to 200 gallons a minute on a residential pool. And even the little one can go all the way out to 150 gallons a minute on a residential pool. And the little one's 200 square feet. If we come up here to the competitors' filters, here we have a 420 and a 520. That's more than double the size of these filters, and look at how the pressure goes up. These are clean filters based on NSF 50 test data, so don't take my word for it. This is real data, and what the takeaway on this is, these filters may be small, but they are mighty in performance. They don't put a lot of back pressure on your pump. That means you can run your pump slower and save a ton of electricity while moving just as much water and filtering better. Let me show you how easy this filter is to get inside. Takes 2 hands, open the safety latches, and then rotate it. It's got 4 handles, and as you could see, it was moving up, and that way we're decompressing the O-ring mechanically, so we're not hugging or bumping pumps to get filters apart. Now you can see it's locked, but yet it's easy to move this around. There would be water running all over down the front of this if the pump was running. So this is the safety where this is completely captured even once this is opened. To complete the process, you do have to click both handles again, and then the whole thing comes off. It's that easy. Let me show you that again on just how easy it is. 2 hands to release, decompression, release the safety, take it the rest of the way off, and that quick you have access to the pipeline filter media. Let me show you how quick and easy it is to put it back together. So you put the lid on and then rotate it backwards until the handles drop where you want them to end up. Then we're going to turn the gauge and face it where you want it to aim, and then just simply crank her down. That simple. Okay, the next feature I want to talk about is this mammoth air bleed valve. This is super important on every filter for safety. A little less important on this one because we have the double locking, but nonetheless, every filter is going to have an air bleed on it, and it's really important that you open this up before turning on your pump. That allows the air to escape this housing, and then once water starts spraying out, you just close it where you want it. Now, one of the things about the top being rotatable is you can aim this and pick where you send the water. The next thing we want to talk about is the filter gauge. All filters will have a pressure gauge. That's how we know when it's time to clean them. Now, in the case of the pipeline filter, it has a high quality rubber boot on the top of it that actually has a clean and dirty arrow on it. So the way you use this is when your filter's brand new and everything's running normally, you adjust the arrow to align with your starting clean pressure. Then, over time, as the filter gets dirty, the needle will move up to the dirty arrow. That's 10 psi, and at that point, you really need to clean your filter. Now, if it was my filter, I would be cleaning it a lot more often because I like to save energy and I like pristine water, and it's so easy to get in and out of that, you know, I would do it more frequently to get all of the benefits out of this design. Another aspect of the filter gauge is this is not a chintzy plastic one. Olaf, the owner of the company, spares no expense on virtually anything he does. And what I want to show you is underneath this nice little rubber boot that has that clean and dirty mark on it is an amazing stainless steel top quality gauge. And it's such good quality, it even has a glycerin fill spot on the top, and we find those on lab quality gauges to keep them from bouncing. So not really a problem for a pool filter application, but it does point to the kind of quality Aquastar puts into every detail of its products. The next feature I want to talk about is often overlooked, but super important, and that is the drain plug at the bottom of all cartridge filters. This is super important because you really need to remove that plug so that water, dirty water, drains out of the filter. That allows you to lift the cartridge out without sending dirty water to the pool. So it's important to remove the drain plug and drain this water. To make that convenient, Aquastar has provided this tool that comes with every one of our filters. And you can see it's got a really cool logo on it, and it simply attaches to the plug so you can remove it, allowing dirty water to flow out instead of flowing to your pool. So again, the tool, the plug comes with each filter. And one more element I want to talk about for quality and convenience is that this has an O-ring built in that comes with it. That's important because it makes installing and removing this plug easier without worrying about it ever leaking, because the O-ring seals were not dependent on pipe threads. They can seal well, but they're kind of a nuisance. So we just eliminate the nuisance. let's take a look inside the filter. I've taken this off before, but it's worth doing again, right? Simple as this. Safety, release, set it out of the way. Then the cartridge filter itself just lifts straight out and onto the ground where it can be cleaned. Now, I mentioned previously about the depth of the pleat, so let me show you here. They are quite deep. Almost, let's see if I can turn this. You can see they're really deep, and they're equally spaced on the inside. That's part of what gives this its amazing performance. Another safety filter that's built in is this automatic air bleed that's in the top of all filters. It's a safety requirement that is a backup, if you will, for the air bleed valve that you really need to make sure you use first. All right, so this is the Aquastar pipeline filter media and Aquastar custom design core. So all of this is proprietary to Aquastar, and when we look inside of this, you can see that the filter itself has a very thick diameter to it, a very thick and deep filter media, and this is the core. This is unique and best in class relative to open area. This is much larger than the others that have been around for a long time. It's part of where we get our superior hydraulic performance. It's also where we are getting superior filter performance because there's more open area behind our filter to actually allow water and the sediment to go towards the center of the core. The clean water leaves the bottom of this, and that's what returns to your swimming pool or spa. And as we talked about before, we have the drain plug. That's what we want to open before we lift these out, so that dirty, muddy water goes out and doesn't go down through the center opening that sends debris back to your swimming pool. It's all part of a well thought through, easy, safe, and highly effective filter system that you can see is quite easy to service. So a little bit of a deep dive into some of the technology here and the nuances of this is every filter has an inlet and an outlet. In this one, it's right here in front of me is the inlet. Over here is the outlet. And it's important to align the core of the filter with that. And here's a little trick, is see this air bleed valve? That goes over the top of the exit to the pool. And so if you set your core in with the filter on it typically, and you just rotate it around till it drops in, then you know the filter has been installed correctly. Now you can do it that way and add this later. It works quite simple. So I mentioned that the all filters have an inlet and an outlet. Aquastar's pipeline filter is no different, and it has union connections that are quite simple for the installer to put in place. From a performance point of view, it has a double ring gasket that's proprietary that saves headaches from leaks. The fitting itself that comes with it can either be 2-inch pipe or 2.5-inch pipe for extra energy efficiency. So it's quite simple. The pool installer will glue up. It's a standard PVC fitting, fits with everything else that's around your equipment, and is very convenient and effective. We talked a little bit about different components: air bleed valve, pressure gauge, unions. All of these products are shipped conveniently in this bag that comes with every filter. So inside you see the air bleed, you got the fancy stainless steel gauge that's protected in a shipping box, the rubber boot, gaskets, the unions, but there's also a couple of other really important things. So at the top of the list is going to be the instructions. This is important for installers and users alike, so it's important to take just a few minutes to familiarize yourself with this filter and certainly others also. Another important element that I want to go into detail in has to do with the gasket that's installed in the middle of this. Okay, we ship it in its own protective envelope that has silicone lubricants already built in. This extra step saves a lot of problems relative to debris and other things that come with a new construction or a new installation. So the disadvantage is it takes a minute to install, and because it's already got the silicone lubricant on it, it will make a mess of your hands. We even have the installers covered here. Every pipeline filter will come with this handy dandy cleaning rag, and if you have your own rag, you can use it as a sweat towel too, ice it down. So a souvenir, all kinds of things that come with Aquastar products. One final thing I want to mention is also in with the filter is something we call key steps to enhancing pool safety. This is a very important tool for installers. The whole idea is to begin a conversation with the pool owner and customer about all things that come with safety, not just pressure safety associated with the filter itself, but kids around pools, all kinds of things. The idea of knowing what the physical address of is your house, all kinds of things that can make a difference. We also support a variety of drowning prevention. We sponsor Every Child a Swimmer, PHTA Step Into the Swim. We've got great resources for the Red Cross and all kinds of feature. The whole point of this is a very convenient way for pool pros to begin a conversation with pool owners, or at a minimum, just give them this and they can read it for themselves. It's a great resource. Encourage you to take some time to understand it yourself and share it with people around you. So that is the Aquastar pipeline filter. A great product, comes with a great souvenir, and really and truly, I think you will be pleased with everything this filter has to offer, from safety to performance to hydraulic energy savings to crystal clear water. I promise you, you will enjoy this filter.